I want to play that part a little bit back. This sister, she's so beautiful, very smart. Listen to her.
Royals need to take a cue to understand that the world is changing. They've had this issue over and over from time immemorial, where one member of the family, usually the second son, would go for somebody else, and then they ostracize the people, and they've had that over and over. When are they going to stop it? It's a new era. We are in a new era now. Now, for the Okuzos that we are on television, the broadcasters like us that cannot do research. They know nothing about any other country apart from their own. This is a new age. We cannot keep excusing your bad behavior. You people need to research other countries. Come out of your own cocoon. Don't just stay there and feel your country is the all, and then you pick up a topic and then you criticize what you know nothing about. They're talking about genital mutilation, a country where they are doing this one, they are doing that one. Have you talked about how people are knifed on the streets of your state, your biggest city?
Where
like, it's not
safe
for people to just walk on the street. You can be knifed for no reason. You're not talking about that. You have other issues. You have infrastructural issues in your cities. You're not talking about that. You just speak because you heard something. You could not even, before coming on TV, to even research small. So you have an idea of the country you're talking about. But I think the beef was just too much on the Meghan and the Harry, and they passed it on. They forgot themselves and they passed it on to the public.
We're going to benefit from this. I mean, what the man said, yes, there's some truths.
What are the truths?
In what he said. He says that, yes, female genital mutilation in some communities, what is he overgeneralized? What he said, listen now, what he said is false, yes, but if you want to say it, we are here still debating in the National Assembly for gender equality. It hasn't been passed as of today, this morning. It's yet to be passed. So we have issues.
How does that concern him?
But no, get my point. My point is I totally agree that he has no right to overgeneralize and overstate these issues. It's not his number two, it's not his business. I totally agree. However, the point I'm trying to make, which made me lose my train of thought.
Sorry.
Is that because let me always land. So what I was trying to just say is that using the perception. So I like the fact that he said what he said, because it's a good PR for me.
That's the media.
Yes, it's a good PR for me. If Harry and Meghan come and say, no, I went there, and the numbers you're giving are wrong, they are false. This is what I saw, this is how I was received. I saw the communities. Yes, I know that you're having issues with gender equality. Because the PR I would have preferred to get from a Harry is to reverse or respond to these guys. Saying, I was there and it wasn't exactly as you are depicting it.
Yeah. You know the point that the sisters made? Apparently she watches some kind of movies, because guess what, y'all? I don't really watch movies. I watch documentaries only. I don't know nothing about movies. I used to watch movies when I was little. But when I grew up, I don't know if I just lost the taste for all those movies all combined. I watch the royals, the criminals. Yeah, I know lots of stuff about this monarchy. Well, at least the European royalty over the years. So when the younger son goes marries somebody out there, so they have to be thrown out of the family, right? Is that what it is, Charles? You're just losing your popularity for nothing. If you have your issues, keep it for yourself. Keep it to yourself with your tabloids. Do not send them here to come and criticize some people's countries. You heard the sister said we know we have issues. And do not generalize everybody, you know. Yeah, we have lots of tribes in Nigeria. It's not every tribe that practices that genital mutilation that I believe the country is fighting to stop it. Yeah, and that shouldn't give you any right to compare Nigeria to the Nazi Germany, your great parents. You know, the people who used to commit all those despicable crimes, are your people. The Germans. And I do not know, for whatever reason, you had to compare Nigeria to that place. I just can't wrap my mind around it. But I'm glad the stupid guy who had that post on there went and deleted it. And the rest of those ignorant people who sat down there, they're like, well, that terrible country, that horrible country, like his country has no issues. Walk around the UK, take your microphone. And right now here, I don't know what really happened. 2 minutes here, they're dissolving your parliament. Something is wrong. Y'all are actually in political crisis right now. That's what you need to focus on, instead of sitting down there and hating on Nigeria. And I'm going to tell you, you'll be shocked. Nigeria is feeding your government there. It's sustaining your entire government. Africa is, in general. And also in majority Nigerian oil. Shut your companies from there. Close the diplomatic door. With all African countries. And the vault you have with all our gold and diamond there, send them back. And all those jewelries with our diamonds, send them back. Send half to India and send half to Africa. Let's see what you really have. You build everything on our ancestors' blood. And you have the power and the audacity with your filthy entitlement to come here to insult Nigeria. Give it all the names in the book. These people are so brainwashed to believe that their country is a paradise. I told y'all, send everything that belongs to Africans. Our artifacts from your museum. Send all our gold and diamonds. And we'll see what you gonna even call yourselves. And these other ones here, if you do not say Meghan Markle's name, your children can't even go to college. If you do not sit down there and hating on Meghan, you can't even get salary. Look at how low you guys really are. The ones sitting down there assaulting Nigeria. You're so poor-minded and brainwashed, dumb bunches, racists. And bad thing, the hate is not even changing you. All of y'all guys look the same. All of y'all guys sound the same. You have that dark aura chasing you around. You're not happy. How would somebody be happy to hate on others? How would somebody be happy by insulting some country, a beautiful country in Nigeria, the giant of Africa? Y'all have some little tiny island there. One day, when those neighbors of y'all there, the Scott and the other ones from the Cardiff people, what do you call that island? When they're gonna switch on you one day, we're gonna see how much you still having those taxes to sustain your country. Right now, you can't even feed the children. You needed Meghan Markle's assistance to feed the children. And y'all guys go even to visit those food banks. I mean, y'all got no shame. A king going to visit food banks. And meanwhile, he's sleeping on $80 billion. That's why I'm telling y'all guys, that $80 billion, there are in African artifacts in their museums. How can I, as a king, with a lot of that money, go to a food bank, which I can stop by increasing people's salaries, create businesses, instead of sitting down there hating on Harry and Meghan, hating on poor black woman innocent for loving a prince? I would sit down there, create better diplomatic relations with Nigeria, so I could get those oil, because I have all the solid, sophisticated refinery to create much more business. It's the recession right now. If I was that king, I would not visit the food banks. And you visiting food banks, I don't know. I don't know how these people really think. You are visiting a food bank with nothing in your hands. Shouldn't you just go to your bank and transfer $1 billion to the food stamp services? Do y'all guys have the food stamps there? Or if you do, what do you call the food stamps in United Kingdom? Where the American government gives money to the family who cannot afford to buy food. They give them some amount of money to feed their children. You want to tell me you ain't got no money? Charles? Camilla, you ain't got no money? Willie Leaks, you ain't got no money? You're going to soup kitchen with no soup in your hands. And meanwhile, you're throwing garden parties to show people you were Dracula hat. And guess what? That day, God was not even sleeping. He said, you ain't going to enjoy with the taxpayers' money. You can't have all this luxury when the children are sleeping hungry in the UK. I'm going to make it rain. Did you see what God did to you that day? Because your guy have no shame. People are hungry. You have all the food banks. You visiting food banks empty-handed. And meanwhile, you're talking about the billions that y'all got. I'm starting to believe those billions are in the infrastructure with our African artifacts in your museum. You have to display that to get the tourists to pay you money. Because otherwise, what is somebody's going to come learn about y'all? That you sold the slavery? You sold the slaves, I mean? That you colonized Africa and the Caribbean? And on top of that, you know, these people, they say Africa has no history. But guess what? The Africans were smart. Most never put those history in a writing. They communicate those history mouth to mouth. Go to our grandparents right now. Our great-grandparents, they're going to tell you stories about what happened in our past. So you took everything, but you couldn't take our history. We still know what's up. And right now, books are coming. Because lots of everything that belonged to us got deleted by y'all. Guess what? You kidnapped us and changed even our names. You stole all our artifacts because y'all have nothing. Look at the museums around Europe. Are you guys going to send those artifacts back? African leaders, are you guys thinking of asking those people to send those artifacts back to your countries so you could put them in a museum in Lagos, in Abuja, in Port Harcourt? The Benin people, I heard they had like more artifacts in English museum more than anybody else. Who's the Benin president? Call me. We're going to look for some diplomatic way here to send all the artifacts back to Benin, to all the African countries. You can call Africa all you want. Let us criticize Africa. Let us say stuff about Africa. You have no right to say anything about Nigeria. Nothing. Keep playing with the leaders that you're playing with. We're watching you. China's not playing with y'all guys down there. Let's see in a few more years. And speaking of China, African governments, y'all need to open your eyes also. China is an emerging economy. They are doing good jobs building your hospitals down there. Building bridges. Building hospitals. And right now, I heard some African leaders started exposing their minerals. They are actually giving China unbelievable contracts for numbers of years for them to extract minerals in Africa. In exchange of them building the hospitals, the bridges, and all those ones. The infrastructure is good. Are they solid enough? How long they're gonna last? What is the estimation of those buildings, the bridges, the hospitals, all those ones being built by China? Because to my knowledge, everything that comes out of China does not last too long. You buy anything from China, it's duplicated from something. It doesn't really last. And how are the estimation of your minerals being calculated with that building exchange? I know y'all have a smart economists, but I know lots of y'all guys are selfish as well. I understand you want to break loose from Europeans. But y'all need to think. Don't be greedy. And don't be dumb either. Think about your people. Think about giving those people those mines in exchange with what they are doing for y'all. I heard a few minutes ago was that Zambia or Zimbabwe, one of the countries, also got into contract with China. I heard if they're building in Cameroon, in Cote d'Ivoire, all those places. Yeah. So y'all need to think long term with those contracts. Because before you know, they're going to turn into another England down there. I heard some locals in Africa crying. They can't even sell the local little tiny thing that they used to sell. Because guess what? The Chinese are ravaging the market. They got into local people's little tiny businesses as well. So y'all need to keep your eyes open. This message is for you African leaders. Let's go back to the sisters. Okay, let's listen to the sisters.
If they do that, then to make it like they were on a royal visit,
Yes.
they want to put them in a they will
box.
not do it. They came here for Invictus game and they met the people they were supposed to meet.
Simple.
Those people in the media are ignorant. Let's take it. Because they are in the UK speaking
Does not
English
mean
does
that
not mean that they are more intelligent or they have
Yes.
better knowledge than we do.
Thank you.
You're obviously ignorant and you need to educate yourself. Simple and short. Yes, we have issues like your country does. Yes, we have genital mutilation issues, but have you read the data so far? How far we've fought this? How a lot of things have improved in the many years? They talk about a country. Our country is not the place we visited. Their king has visited our country many times. So many times. I mean, we celebrated his birthday the last time. Your king, if because it's the ignorance we're talking about, if they understand the importance of the relationship between Nigeria and Britain, they would have been
Say
careful
that.
the sort of words that they were using. What I see, really, and this is the part that I want us to look at critically, is that there's this racism that is going on.
Yeah.
And we must refuse it in all forms and all colors.
Chukwaju.
For me, that girl, knowing that she's black, has gotten her a lot of bad media attention to the point that they said they pushed this girl to almost suicide because she's not white like them. And we know that. So that is a problem that their country is dealing with, racism. People can color it anywhere and anyhow, but we know that. And we're not going to sit for that. We also understand that the media, especially this British media, we see how they'll carry a story, squeeze it, make it look like
Flowery.
something that just because flowery. When it comes to African stories, there's a way that they tell our stories.
Yes.
They depict us as if they are all brainless people. We don't have any form of
in the forest.
intelligence. Yes, even though day in, day out, you see stories of Nigerians and Africans doing amazing, but for them, they've already
see those
painted us
ones.
with this brush, so nothing good can come out of here. And I think it's our place to educate them and point out their ignorance and lack of
need to
education
read
and
more
exposure.
and
That you're
travel.
exposed to British this does not make you fully exposed. We have many Nigerian students, one even very recently, knifed in London. Our smart, intelligent children that can come back to our country and bring development. People will keep killing them up and down. Who has called you out on a media house and called your country names?
So bias is not something that there's no, when you watch that interview, there was obvious bias from both parties, and there was obvious misinformation. There was obvious, there was an intention to suppress and denigrate the country. So my expectation would have been that, we would have a press release, an official press release addressing the things that were being said.
That's too much.
You know, the sister brought a beautiful point. They have much more bigger issues to deal with. Racism. Racism is destroying your country. Racism is gonna destroy this monarchy. Everything you're doing to Meghan Markle, do you think you're doing to Meghan Markle only? You are doing it to me. You are doing it to my children. You're doing it to all the queens and the kings watching me right here. That's much more bigger issue. Much more bigger issue. to sit down there and think how to eradicate that racism. It was reported some youth, Nigerian kids who went to school in your country, they got stabbed. Children losing their lives. Because of what? Their race. Well, make that make sense. Your country is that good. Make it make sense. Charles, Camilla endorsing the tabloids. Isn't that one big problem that y'all need to deal with? It's going to ruin diplomatic relation. Do you know why the chief of army of Nigeria decided to invite Harry? It could be because of your behavior. And did you see this other guy from Australia, from West Australia, saying that he's Harry's fan? Does that ring a bell? You need to check yourselves. Y'all need to check your country. Y'all need to do something about racism. Everything you're doing to Meghan on here is going to come back and bite you. That's why I'm telling y'all, we can't just sit here and talk about it on the internet here. We need to talk to legislators about this black race being bullied by the English media, directed by the King of England, the grandson of the OG of slave owners. It's like this Charles really sold his soul to the devil. And I believe that. If you're going to send your media people to attack a country, a huge country like Nigeria, and saying everything that they said, and you went there to celebrate the day you were born when Elizabeth gave birth to you, you went and celebrated it in Nigeria. But because you're so dumb and can't think straight, you sent your dogs on here to say what they had to say about Nigeria. They say their monarch can't go to Nigeria, but I saw you guys a video, actually. Not even a picture, a video of you in Nigeria with your mistress. And then sent that old man around here to tell us that you did not like our country. You did not like our continent. You did not like black cultures. You like the white Commonwealth countries. But guess what? Because you do keep the African leaders under your belt, that's why we can't even see none of them coming down here to say a word. None of them. You sent to your media people. They came here saying they plain and clean and clear. That King Charles was forced to go to Africa. King Charles does not like African culture. He liked to go to white Commonwealth country. He liked to go to white Commonwealth countries, which are three countries, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. But he went to Nigeria, celebrated his birthday there. So that's why these batch of people, I don't know what drug y'all guys on. You can't even think straight. Some of these royal reporters actually traveled with him down there. But because they have amnesia, they don't remember. There you go. Let's continue with the sisters.
Who will? That's too much. That's too much attention.
Yes.
Who will? You now say that they're on a royal visit.
Because we are discussing. Not for Meghan. They were not talking about Meghan. They were talking about how could you visit this country? This country is
giving them too much regard.
It's too much. So for me, addressing the A, B, C, D, and E, we've already come up to the conclusion that sometimes when you ignore, your ignorance is ignoring misinformation can spread misinformation. So when you ignore misinformation and you let it stay, somebody else will listen to it, and there was nothing contradictory. They believe it as the fact. But when you come back and when you demystify that misinformation, you are not defending yourself. You are correcting the ill.
Yeah.
You are correcting the wrong. You
But
are
silence
writing
is the best answer given to that.
But we're not silent.
We're no longer believing that.
But we're not silent.
All the time.
So I feel that we are talking in our own way.
But you're saying the government should respond.
Yes.
I felt that it might be too much for a media house.
Even if it is not presidential. Even if it is not presidential. Even if it went viral.
Everything will go viral. Nigerians will go viral.
Can I ask a question? If this was done by a media house in Kenya, would you be upset?
Another African country.
Another African country.
Doing this to us,
saying
exactly about
they won't do this to
I'm
us.
just asking a question.
Yeah, I'm just
Well, African media. So the reason why, the reason why I'm asking is because it seems as though the reason why we're really pained is because it's British.
No, it's because it was live.
Because somebody said that, based on the comments I was saying, is it possible that if this was said by a South African media house or a Kenyan media house, Nigerians will respond to it as they did?
I
think they are lies.
Yes,
because they are lies.
The response is
Have you seen how we respond to South Africans on
Our response
Twitter?
is based on the fact that it was a misinformation and putting a wrong narrative out there, not based on the color. So of course we don't like the fact that it's not coming from a white person, but you are even going to say something. Say the facts. Oh, there are 1,000 people still getting mutilated. Let's this is what we're dealing with. We know.
Give us the
we're
facts.
working on it. But just to generalize and make it look like this country, there is no peace, there's nothing going on. People, I was in UK and everybody was calling me that, hey, hold your bag very well, oh. They cut bag. I'm like, they steal bag. They
like,
yes.
They're telling us to hold my bag.
So, the thing is, you are also facing your own challenge. Don't make it look like Nigeria has been blacklisted. That even the US said that nobody should come to Nigeria. If they are coming, they should be careful. I'm going, wow.
But that's what we call beer apologists. That's why I don't want our government to be anywhere involved in that particular video. That was just beer parlor, whatever it is that.
But my pain is that we always be up to them and feel they are the best international standard, the best practice, however we used to call it. And then we see that these people actually do not know it. They do not do research. They just come out and they speak like they are gisting on the table. That we always be up to them and feel they are the best international standard, the best practice, however we used to call it. And then we see that these people actually do not know it. They do not do research. They just come out and they speak like they are gisting on the table. That tells us that we too need to do more work and we need to educate them. They need to be educated. They are best. So most of the time they don't travel. They don't read. Once they get that information concerning their country, they run with it and there's nobody corresponding to say, okay, this is not it and this is not that. And they show that there. This is the 21st century, the year of knowledge. And not even quickly Google and see the status of Nigeria before you open your mouth and talk like that.
I've never heard of that particular media house. I don't know if you have. And the presenters themselves.
They're not
so the reason why they trended was because they were so negative.
Yeah.
And it fed into the hate and negativity that's always been
already
towards
had.
that Harry and Meghan. And that's the only thing that made them trend. So our government cannot be involved in that level of ignorance.
Yeah. Long and short.
We have to wrap any comments on social media so we can wrap up on this.
Plenty comments.
Yeah, let's take a break.
There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, my kings and my queens, we got an assignment from this sister. She said, we need to educate these people. And I guess that's what we're going to do. But because these people do not understand that they have options. There are easy options where you can learn about anything before you say anything, before you appear on this media. Before you go on Twitter to write something, if it's not coming straight from your liar palace, the Kensington or Buckingham, go Google. Go on YouTube. Go on Twitter. Before you sit down there and start saying nonsense about the country that you do not even know. You were born in that tiny island and your little self is just staying in that little island. You don't move nowhere. So it's hard to understand the outside world. Which is so sad, tabloids. I wish any of you guys could at least be a little bit knowledgeable. But y'all dumb. Yeah, in Nigeria, we do not take lots of nonsense. So if you bring your nonsense, you're going to get water. That's what the sisters brought for you here. You didn't ask. You should ask the world who are Nigerians. They would have told you. So right now, look at how y'all came here and shamed yourselves. So we're just going to sit down there and educate y'all. Racist, damn tabloids. Let's hear y'all guys come back here. Say something to the sisters. So we could come and wash your brains. You little tiny narrow brains. Filled with hate. These miserable racists. All right, my people, I'm going to see y'all guys tomorrow. I love y'all. Please subscribe to Isabella Banks. Let's get this is 5,000 people. I believe, yeah, we're close to 4,000. And by tomorrow, or no, by the next month, we need to get her to 5,000 subscribers. So the sister could keep blessing lots of our new Sussex-friendly channels. Okay? Yeah. And please also subscribe to my channel and subscribe to all the Sussex-friendly channels. Yeah, these sisters made me so happy right now. It's like I'm so happy. I can't really talk. The tabloids are in shock. They got called out. The sister says because they speak English, they think they're smart. Well, because that's how these people think. Because they speak English, which is their language, they are smart. And they forget. We speak all of their language and ours combined. So tell me now, who is the smartest? They're smart. And they can't even do any research about anything they're saying about Africa. Forgetting that Africa built their country. Their countries, plural, with